Hey everybody, welcome back to the next episode of Branch 458 Podcast. I'm Casey Ritchie, your branch's financial secretary. I'll be going into the June and July edition of our newsletter, The Sooner Script. We have a new editor this month. Chris Prieto is the editor of our newsletter, so I'm excited to see what he's got in here. On the very front cover, we have the food drive numbers. So this is something that I'm excited to report. We actually did an amazing job this year. As always, we usually finish in the top 10, top five in our category. So I'm excited to see where we're at there, and we'll report those as soon as we hear those numbers. I'm not going to read each station's total pounds, but the totals for our entire branch, just to share what last year's totals were. 195,720 pounds in 2023. This year, we collected 201,200 pounds. So we've increased that by quite a bit. And I know that's a lot of food for a lot of families in need here in Oklahoma. So thank you for everyone that worked that day, that helped out that day. Thank you to all the family members that assisted, your friends. So we really appreciate it. I know that's a day that we can all feel good about. Going into the second page is an article by one of our members, and the next voice you hear is actually going to be her. It's Christy Bowers. She works in Colorado at our MBA's office, so we're excited to hear from her. So here she is.
Heat illness and OWCP. Wow, in 5 more months, I'll start my 6th year as your regional administrative assistant. I hope everyone is well and stays safe in the Oklahoma heat and humidity. Please encourage your brothers and sisters to take precautions and to seek medical treatment when they experience heat illness to reduce the risk of long-term bodily damage and even death. Under the OSHA Act, employers have a duty to protect workers from recognized serious hazards in the workplace, including heat-related hazards. OSHA does not yet have a specific standard that covers working in hot environments. OSHA guidance cautions employers to allow new or returning workers to gradually increase workloads and take more frequent breaks to acclimate to working in the heat. The process of building tolerance is called heat acclimatization. You should not be pressured to skip necessary comfort stops to cool down and hopefully ward off heat illness. In addition to your contractual 30-minute lunch and 2 10-minute breaks, you should take as many comfort stops as you need to protect yourself from the hot weather. This is especially important for carriers not acclimated. Comfort stops should be taken as necessary for regular everyday needs such as using the restroom, buying or refilling cool drinks, and taking some time in the shade to cool down. Simply carrying ample water to maintain adequate hydration is important, but with water alone, heat injuries can still slowly creep up on you. Working in full sunlight can increase heat index values by 15 degrees Fahrenheit. As the body slowly overheats, judgment can become impaired. Perhaps it's this impaired judgment that causes us to keep going while symptoms increase and to decline medical evaluation and treatment. If you experience heat exhaustion symptoms, the Heat Illness Prevention Program recommends you call 911 immediately and then you notify your supervisor. While you wait for emergency care, the HIP recommendation is to sit or lie down in a cool, shady area, drink cool water, use cool compresses or ice packs, and not to return to work that day. Time and Attendance Handbook F21, Section 392.33 provides, if an employee is excused from work because of a disabling, job-related, traumatic injury where the disability occurred during the employee's scheduled tour, the remaining portion of the tour should be charged to other leave, code number 86. This means that if you seek medical treatment prior to the end of your scheduled workday and the treatment or disability prevents you from returning, you should be paid for the remainder of your scheduled tour. You should then file a CA1 for the heat injury with the OWCP. There are a range of heat-related symptoms that can affect anyone, regardless of age or physical condition. A doctor needs to list all the additional injuries consequential to the overheating, which often include heart and kidney malfunction. Please protect yourselves and stay safe.
Page 3 is a flyer about Pregnant Worker Fairness Act. It's the PWFA. So, what is PWFA? The Pregnant Workers Fairness Act, or PWFA, is a federal law that starting June 27th, 2023, requires covered employers to provide reasonable accommodations to a qualified worker's known limitations related to pregnancy, childbirth, or related medical conditions unless the accommodation will cause the employer an undue hardship. An undue hardship is defined as causing significant difficulty or expense. Reasonable accommodations are changes to the work environment or the way things are usually done at work. What are some possible accommodations for pregnant workers? Being able to sit or drink water, receiving closer parking, having flexible hours, receiving appropriately sized uniforms and safety apparel, receiving additional break time to use the bathroom, eat, or rest, taking leave or time off to recover from childbirth, being excused from strenuous activity and/or exposure to chemicals not safe for pregnancy. What other federal employment laws may apply to pregnant workers? Other laws that apply to workers affected by pregnancy, childbirth, or related medical conditions include Title VII, which prohibits employment discrimination based on sex, pregnancy, or other protected categories, and this is enforced by the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, or the EEOC. The ADA, which prohibits employment discrimination based on a disability. This is enforced by the EEOC. The Family and Medical Leave Act, which provides unpaid leave for certain workers for pregnancy and to bond with the new child, enforced by the U.S. Department of Labor. The Pump Act, which provides nursing mothers a time and private place to pump at work, enforced by the U.S. Department of Labor. Learn more at www.eeoc.gov/pregnancy/discrimination. And I'll put that link in the description of this podcast. On page 4 is an article written by me, Dignity and Respect. I think we are all aware of what dignity and respect is and what it should look like. We all know management has little to no concern about maintaining this dignity and respect as they attempt to meet their fictitious time standards. As carriers, part of a labor union, we have a very strong position when management refuses to treat everyone with dignity and respect. We have won dozens of grievances within the last year over this very topic. Management has been ordered to cease and desist, ordered to investigate the initial management inquiry process, the IMIP, and have been ordered to pay carriers because of these violations. I use the wording ordered intentionally because they failed to take these actions on their own and even argued against these actions in the grievance procedure. Many of the decisions came from Step B or arbitration. The section of management's handbook, the M39, that specifically requires dignity and respect is section 115.4. It reads, maintain mutual respect atmosphere. The national agreement sets out the basic rules and rights governing management and employees in their dealings with each other, but it is the frontline manager who controls management's attempt to maintain an atmosphere between employer and employee which assures mutual respect for each other's rights and responsibilities. So what does that mean for carriers? It means that management is ultimately responsible. They must take steps to promote and maintain the respectful atmosphere. If there is an abusive supervisor, it is the manager's responsibility to curb that behavior. If it's the manager that has the abusive behavior, there should be a member of management report this behavior to the manager's direct supervisor because it is their responsibility. If those actions are not being done, we can call HR and report the misconduct ourselves and/or file agreements that management is failing to follow the responsibilities outlined in their own handbooks and manuals. Carriers are not exempt from this dignity and respect requirement. The ELM outlines requirements for all employees to treat each other with respect. However, it is management's responsibility to maintain this respectful atmosphere. Our jobs are very stressful, and management does not make this any easier with their unrealistic expectations or their blatant demands that violate handbooks and manuals. Do not fall into the trap of being the one to be disrespectful or abusive towards management or any other person while in the performance of your duties. The union can win grievances with statements and interviews stating that management acted alone when they not only failed to maintain this respectful atmosphere, but they were the sole reason the hostile atmosphere existed. It greatly diminishes our position if the carrier is also involved in creating a disrespectful atmosphere. Keep your cool, respond in a calm tone. If you can, ensure that other coworkers are around and can be a witness to this interaction, and put in a request to speak to your steward immediately. On page 5, we have the scholarship news. Thanks for the following Branch 458 members who donated to the Branch 458 Memorial Scholarship Fund: Bob Bearden, Daniel Gonzalez, Steve Riggs, Eric Bew, Ken Mayfield, and Alan McGlasson. 100% of the donations to the scholarship fund are used for the cost of scholarships for winners chosen annually by the Branch 458 Memorial Scholarship Committee. Applications are available for graduating seniors, children, and grandchildren of members. Towards the end of the calendar year are generally due by March 31st of each year. To date, Branch 458 has provided scholarships to more than 25 students that are children of our members. Next on that page is a slip that you can cut out and send back. You can mail to the hall if you'd like to donate, or you can just include a check and then put in the memo that it's for a scholarship donation. Next, we have a membership report. It's all the brand new members to our branch, so we welcome all of the members into Branch 458. The memorials. James Wright passed away on April 13th, 2024. He carried out of Southeast Station. Elder Carson passed away on April 18th, 2024. He's the father of Brother Eddie Carson at MLK and Brother Eric Carson from Center City. Barry Brady passed away on April 28th, 2024. He's the son of Brother Pat Brady, who's retired from Moore Acres. On page 6 and 7, we have the June and July birthday calendars. So happy birthday to anyone that's listed there. If your name is not on either of those months and it is your birthday, let the editor know or call up here to the hall and we'll get your name added to those calendars. And then on the back cover of the newsletter, we have all the officers that were present at the last branch meeting. All officers were present with the exception of the mutual benefits director. We have a table of contents there, and then there's upcoming events. The stewards trainings are typically the first Thursday of every month. You'll notice that July, the stewards meeting is on July 2nd. That's a Tuesday because July 4th is the Thursday and that's a holiday. So we've moved that up to July 2nd. So just pay attention to that one date. The dates for June is June 6th, and those both start at 6:30. The branch meetings are typically the second Thursday of every month. The next two meetings is June 13th and July 11th, and those always begin at 7:30. And then you can join us on Zoom or you can come in person, and we hope to see you here. All right, that's it for our newsletter. Just a few things, and we'll wrap up this episode. If you go on to Light Blue, you can download your employee personnel file, the EOPF file. For anyone that doesn't know, that's where you can go in and you can download and see if you have any active discipline in your file, if you have any Form 50s that are cut. So Form 50s are always cut whenever you change status in anything. So if you go from CCA to a regular carrier, or if you go from step A to step B, if you change pay statuses, you maybe bid to a different route. So it explains all those things. Download your EOPF while that's still available. They had it disabled for a long time. I think it was over a year. So you can go on to Light Blue and download that. Also, you can go on to NALC.org and download the Activist for June. They started doing the Activist again. And then there's also the Postal Record is available on there. So I will put all that in the description. Thanks for listening. Bye.